Welcome to This Works Marketing, where 3 decades of proven experience has launched products, built brands, and generated profits. These are the stories behind the businesses that have been built.
We're in St. Charles.
St. Charles, Illinois.
About an hour outside of Chicago.
Yep.
Hour and a half. So we were doing this interview with another one of our clients, and I met Father Manno, and I just was like really impressed and thought it was very, very interesting.
Thank you.
We were talking to you. So I wanted to take this opportunity in on our Facebook Live about This Works Marketing and have this conversation with Father Manno, because one of the things I was saying to him is that, even though, in our business, we're educating the consumer to get them to take make an event, to take an action, right? In a way, you're doing the same thing, right?
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about, I learned about your platform on, was it carpool, what did you call it?
Carpool karaoke.
In a different way. So
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about it, and tell me how you came about doing it, and what's your goal with what you want to do with carpool karaoke and your brand as Father Manno.
So it started as a carpool karaoke, and we were hosting a big youth conference, like 2,000 high school kids. And we were like, we have to show them that like priests, that a bishop, normal guy, we do fun things.
Yeah.
And so we had seen James Corden, the late night show guy, do carpool karaoke. We're like, all right, let's bring the church into that. And so we made this video, and we only filmed for like a good hour and a half. We just literally drove around. I had a couple questions planned, had music ready, and just did it, edited it, and we put an 8-minute video out there. And now it's been seen by over like 600
almost probably 640,000 people.
Which is a lot of people,
Yeah.
especially in the platform we're using, which is the Catholic Church, right? And so I saw the power of social media, and I was like, we made one video, and like 600,000 people saw it. And then through that, I was getting emails from like India, like the South America, Central America, all around the US, from the Philippines, all over Europe. I was getting these emails of like, this is amazing. And we're asking like life questions. And so I thought, oh my gosh, like that one 7-minute video made them ask all those questions about their life. And they want to ask me. And so I was like, we have to do more of this.
Right.
More of this using this platform. So that's where it began. And so now we're using that with different social media, going out in the street, asking questions, and hopefully open up the door.
What you do on the street.
Yeah.
I think this is really interesting.
Yeah, so I basically, in my priest clothes, I wear this all the time. Minus sleeping and going to the gym. I wear this all the time. Yeah. And so I go to the street, I have a microphone, it's called Priest with a Mic, and I just ask people, hey, you over there, can I talk to you? I bring them over, and I ask them any question, like, what's the point of life? What's the happiest moment of your life? What's the saddest moment? Why do you do what you do? You're a doctor. What's the best part about being a doctor? And the point is just to engage people and to recognize that I'm convinced truth is embedded in each person. And if we ask the right questions, we'll get it out. And so that's the point. We're not there to convince them of anything, but just to ask questions.
Do you feel that they are feeling like they have to give something up when they see a priest come in? They feel like they have to give something up. Does that ever come up?
Surprisingly, the response of talking to people randomly on the street has been incredible. Very few negative interactions. Most people are like, yeah, I'll talk to you. What's going on?
Right.
And it's actually been interesting depending on where you go too. Like if you're in, like LA was like 50-50 talking to you. New York was like 40% talk, 60 don't. The Midwest, like everyone and their mother was like, I'll talk to you. What do you want to talk about?
They brought over their mother.
Right? Yeah, they did. And so the point is just to produce these videos that help people recognize that they need more out of life, like that we're searching. And so like opening up that search, that hunger, right?
So your goal with it is, as you were saying, is to get outside the secular community, right? Tell me about that.
Yeah, so I think too often I think the church is preaching to the choir. And so there's amazing, and we need to preach to the choir, right? Like that's important, right? You want your own dad to be at your house and talking to you, but dad at times has to go out and talk to other people too. And so the point is to bring the church and the existence of God as something good that people should desire out to those who would never watch a priest. And so I can only in the church talk to a couple thousand people.
Right.
And there's millions more than 1 billion I can speak to through social media. And so God willing, the point of the video is to ask those questions to a person who would never walk in a church and just say, hey, you want love too, right? Have you been finding it? Okay, well, tell me where you are. And if you're not, maybe we can find it together, right? Help you find what you're actually looking for, right? Because everyone goes to bed at night going, I want more, right? And where am I going to find it? And so that's what we're trying to help people discover and bring them to that truth, right?
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I was telling you about a little bit before we got started is, in our business, we're educating the consumer to create an action, and that is to buy something, inquire about something, do something. In a way, this platform, you're educating consumers about, you're educating the public. So tell me the similarity that you see.
And you hit on it. Our objective is just to get somebody to ask a question and seek out an answer. I think too often we just read an article, we hear something, and we just go, cool. And we just accept whatever is coming in. Like my realization of why I exist, and the point of my own life, was I started asking questions about what is truth? Who am I? I mean, there's billions of people in the world. Why did I show up here? Is there a purpose for me, or am I just meant to do whatever? I don't know. And so it's through questions that I got answers, and I was like, whoa. And when I was asking questions, I challenged the person I was talking to. And so we're hoping to make a video and make the listener ask a question. Oh yeah, am I actually happy? Yeah, do I know what's real? Is this happiness, is this real or is it fleeting, right? Does me going out every weekend and just drinking, does that make me happy?
Right.
Maybe it does for a moment.
Right.
Will I be happy tomorrow, right?
Right.
And so it's just asking questions. We want people to ask questions and not be afraid to seek out answers.
And in our business, we educate, we ask questions, whatever, and then we are looking for a call to action. Just a call to action. I mean, as a priest, right, there's a call to action of what you want
100%.
to do, right?
So the call to action is ask the question, and then we hope, obviously, as my belief as a priest, is to be changed. And then the call to action is to actually live that out authentically, right? We all want people to be authentic. We sniff out fakeness in a second, right? You're saying one thing, but you do not do that, and I'm not going to even listen to you, right? Then we turn them off. And so we're calling people to action of living authentic lives. And when we live authentic lives, radical things happen, right? We're transformed and everyone else around us is transformed.
Okay, what do you mean radical things happen? Tell me about that.
Yeah, what I mean by that is once you actually start, if you recognize oh, I should do this, I should do that, and I should be the person I claim to be, when you start doing that, your whole entire being is transformed. And people will walk up to you and they go, whoa, you're different. Because the reason you're different is because everything you wanted to do, you decided, I'm not going to start fantasizing about it. I'm going to actually do it, right? I actually want to wake up at 7 a.m. and have a coffee and pray and talk to a higher power. And then I want to go out there and I want to go to the guy at the checkout line and actually make him happier, right? We walk past how many people a day in the elevator and just go, nothing. We have silence. If you walk up to the lady in the counter and go, ma'am, how are you? Good. It's nice to see you. She is going to go home at night and go, there's a random priest came up to me. He actually cared about who I was.
Right.
And so when we live authentic lives, that authenticity becomes potent for other people. And I think it radiates, and then people want to know, what is that? My big dramatic moment was seeing an authentic priest and being like, what does he have? I want to know what that is.
Right.
And so when we live radical lives, people see that and they want to also follow that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So in a way, and I'm not too presumptuous with this, but the fact that if you can reach a new audience, because really that's what you're doing, is trying to reach a new audience, and you can get someone to ask a question that is questioning, maybe they're questioning something, questioning themselves about certain things, that maybe that this may be the way to seek an answer.
Yes.
At the end of the day, right?
Exactly. And in fact, my favorite people when I read comment sections are the ones who are like, this priest is an idiot. I'm like, I love that guy. I love that guy. I want to talk to him. I want to see what's going on in his brain. And so I will message him and be like, what's up, man? Yeah, let's talk. And so that's my favorite. That's the person I'm talking to. I want to talk to the person who sees the priest and is like,
right.
that
It's
guy,
the troll
he
you wanna
believes
get
fairy
into.
tales, right?
Right.
And I want to go, good, tell me what the fairy tales are. Let's talk about it. So I want to talk to the trolls. Yeah.
Right. So tell me about one of the unique situations you found yourself in where you said you talked to an atheist.
Yeah.
Tell me about that conversation.
Yeah,
That
so
was really interesting.
I was out in the street and I was doing a little game of Catholic or atheist. And so I would
Catholic what?
Catholic or atheist. And so I would say,
Now that's a conversation starter right away.
I would just say Brad Pitt. They would go atheist. Yep. Stephen Colbert, Catholic. Yep. Lady Gaga, atheist. No, she's Catholic. Her birth name is Stephanie Germanata. She's a Catholic Italian, right? And so I would do that. And at the end, I would ask the person, what do you believe? And I was talking to this lady, she was atheist. And it was fascinating because at one point I said, well, where do you think we came from? And she says, the Big Bang, like just an explosion. And I said, the Big Bang, the theory that it came up with was from a Catholic priest. It was a Catholic priest who came up with the theory of the Big Bang. And I said, see, science and religion becoming one. And she was like, I had no idea that a Catholic priest came up with the Big Bang theory. I was like, see, we have a little connection there, And just like the fact that I was listening to her, not judging her, not telling her she was wrong, just asking questions, by the end she was like, this is really nice. And so at the end I said, ma'am, I believe in God, so God bless you. And she goes, science love you. It was awesome. Yeah.
Awesome.
And watching that, I think a lot of the responses are people just seeing like, wow, you had a legitimate conversation with somebody. You're in two different worlds, but you're able to meet and have a dialogue. And I think that's a big thing too.
And that could be the bridge, right? That could be the bridge of if he can have that conversation, maybe I could have something, right?
And that's exactly, I think, where the crux of another part of our desire is. I recognize it in that carpool karaoke where I'm driving around singing, is people saw me and went, I could probably talk to that priest.
Yes.
Yeah. I bet he wouldn't yell at me. He'd probably listen to my question.
Right.
And so that's where I was getting emails. And so it's like putting that face of like, no, like you can be religious.
Right. You
and
can
like,
break a stereotype.
You can break a stereotype. And like, I broke the stereotype, right? Just by existing. I don't know what the preconceived notion is.
Yeah.
And why don't you break the stereotype and talk to me?
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's the fun thing.
I think it's fascinating. So it's been fulfilling, right?
It's amazing. I love it.
Yeah.
I would have never thought that being a priest would be this amazing. I wake up every day and I'm like, I feel good. Thank you, Jesus. Yeah, I do. Yeah.
So for people who are, seeking or interested and want to follow you, how do they get a hold of it? What's your handles?
They can go to Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, all the same handle, at Father Manno. Father spelled out, Father, Manno, Manno, at Father Manno.
Awesome. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ken.
Appreciate it.
Welcome to This Works Marketing, where 3 decades of proven experience has launched products, built brands, and generated profits. These are the stories behind the businesses that have been built.